This is a step-by-step guide to fix the Steam controller's grips not registering properly. All credits for this guide go to CamelSpit on the Steam community forums. I'll link his guide in the video description. You're gonna need a T6 screwdriver, either a box cutter or an X-Acto knife or something like that, a Q-tip, and some alcohol. This is the kind that I have, and something to put the. I suggest getting a little cup to put the screws in so that you don't lose them. So first, make sure your controller's off. Take off the battery door and take out batteries if you have any in the controller. Normally you wouldn't be able to see these holes. There's three kind of hidden screws underneath this sticker that's on the back of the controller. There's one, two, and three. And what I recommend doing is just using your nail, kind of like push in to mark where the holes are, and then just grab your box cutter or X-Acto knife and just kind of run it along that little hole that you made with your nail or that little mark, and you should be able to cut it out. It's kind of thick, so don't be afraid to push a little bit, and yeah, just fish it out if it falls in to the hole. And once you've done that, just take out all the screws. There's 7 total. They're pretty small, so that's why I recommend getting a little cup to put them in. This is the only hole, the only screw that's different. It's a lot longer than the rest. You can kind of take it out by hand at the end. And once you start taking off the last couple of screws, you'll feel the back of the controller start coming a little loose, um, which is fine. Just kind of grab the back of it so that it doesn't fall off by itself while you're getting the screws out, because it will just like fall off if you're not careful. Okay, so from here you can just set the controller down and you can kind of just lift off the back. There's 3 parts that might fall off by themselves. These are the little levers that you use to push the batteries out. They're really easy to just slide back in, so don't worry about that. I'll show you how to do it later. And this little thing might come off too, just to release the battery door lock. It might not, but if it does, it's whatever. So once you're at this stage, um, make sure that if it's your left grip or that's not working, it's going to be on your right. And if it's your right one, it's going to be on your left because the controller's flipped upside down. And these little metal domes, those are the little buttons. You can kind of like push them with your nail. You can hear a little click. So what we're going to do is they're not like soldered on or anything. They're just stuck on with this tape that you can kind of see. So what we're going to do is we're going to peel back the tape, not all the way off, just about like 3/4 of the way. That's going to lift up the little metal dome. And then we're going to clean it and then just reapply it. So if you have some tweezers or something, I recommend doing that. It'll make peeling the sticker off a little easier. But if you don't, you can just like use your nail to slowly lift it. It's kind of hard to see. I'm trying to get it to focus on it, but you just lift the sticker and there's the metal dome kind of lifted off. and then just grab your Q-tip, dip it in the alcohol. Make sure you don't drop it on your controller or anything. Close the bottle to be safe or whatever. And while you're lifting the little metal dome, just kind of like rub the metal dome itself with some of the alcohol to clean it. And the contacts on the actual controller chip. And the alcohol will just evaporate by itself. You can just wait a little bit. You don't have to like dry it off or anything. And once you're done, this is probably the most important part. It's just to reapply the sticker and make sure that the dome hasn't like shifted off of its center. You can kind of look at the other one to get a good sense of what it should look like. If you haven't peeled back the sticker all the way or removed the dome all the way off, then it should be pretty easy. You can just kind of stick it back down. This is all that I had to do to get my grip working again. In his guide, Camel Spit says that if that doesn't work, then you can just remove the whole sticker off, rotate the dome switch 90 degrees, and then reapply it. And that should get it working. So now you can just kind of push the sticker back on with your nail, making sure that it's centered properly, and it looks good to me. Okay. And now to test it, you don't have to screw everything back in just yet. What I like to do is just put back the battery door levers. Wait, it's backwards. So you can kind of just tell that where they go, like that. They just kind of slide into one of the screw holes. Okay, and then the little release mechanism, just put that in there. And then set that down. You can kind of just slide back the top of the controller. Okay, just be gentle with it. So at this point, just flip it over, keeping in mind that you're holding the controller together, not the screws. This is just to test it. So you just slide the batteries back in. Put the battery door back on. And you can just turn it on at this point. Now, I'm just going to make sure that everything's working properly. Just go to the controller settings, go down to your controller, go to support, and here you can press all the buttons to see that everything's still working properly. And obviously the most important part is the grips. And then if you want to make sure that it's like registering properly when you spam it or whatever, just open up a game. And yeah, just play around with it, make sure that it's registering properly. Yeah, and at this point, once you got everything working properly, just turn the controller back off to be safe. and then remove the battery door. Make sure the back of the controller is properly seated, and just start screwing everything back in. Make sure you don't over tighten the screws. Just screw them all the way and then just add a little bit more force at the end. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave a comment, or I'm gonna post the Reddit thread for where you can discuss this too. The one disclaimer I'll leave is that I'm not sure how necessary it is to clean everything. Like, I don't know if just removing the sticker and like lifting the dome and applying it back in, if that was enough to fix the issue. If I ever have another grip stop working, I'll just do that without using the Q-tip and alcohol to clean it. And if that doesn't work, then yeah, it's probably the cleaning that does the trick, not just like lifting it and reapplying the dome, like recentering it or whatever. Um, but yeah, that should be it. Yeah, so I'll test it one last time. And here, there you go. All right, thanks for watching, and hopefully you can repair your grips